Let me just first say how lovely it is to be with you.
Yeah.
And I was thinking we could talk today about the role of relationship in spiritual life, and the fact that we, in our spiritual practices in one way or another, we cultivate the awareness that we're all one, and then we run into difficulties in relationship. And I think you used to say in the 70s, if you think you're enlightened, go home and spend some time with your family. And you and I both had experiences of seeing our families and family members, including parents, in ways that are different from the traditional roles. So I know you have a story about your mother.
Well, it's a rather long story, but when I was a psychologist, psychology was built up from the negative, and the categories, like I used to be a therapist, and I had the categories, my patients were negative. And and I really wondered why psychology didn't attach me with the beautiful inside. Even my analysis didn't get me to the Atman or something. When I started to see this, because it was when Maharaj-ji and I got together. Maharaj-ji, we were talking about my mother. One day he said, "Your mother is a very high soul." This was very different from my mother as viewed by a psychological perception. The middle-class woman, power-oriented, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I had an experience. I was touring the islands, and I hadn't been invited to the big island. And I got a letter saying, "We are a community. We meditate, and we'd like to visit you to visit." Okay, I'll try it anyway. And the plane landed, and there was this 50-year-old man and about a man and a woman of about 20, 25. And we got into the front of a pickup truck, the four of us. And we started to drive a long way up the mountain. And they didn't talk. I tried to initiate more discussion. I was feeling a little insecure. And when I got to my room, showed me my room, and they said, the door is down there is my office. So why don't you take a nap and knock on the door and we'll talk. And I took a nap and I knocked on the door and he welcomed me, and the older man, and we sat down and we talked intimately and our lives and so on. And then he said, perhaps you'd like to meet the rest of the community. And I said, not particularly. I just came to be, well, here, let me introduce him. And he pulled a string and a whole wall. The wall was a curtain. Uh-huh. And behind the curtain were 30 or so people. And they were all looking at us. They've been hearing our conversation. And they were looking at me. So I assumed I was supposed to speak. And I started to tell a story. And a girl said, Ramdas, you're not nearly as good as your book. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I went on with my conversation. And then a man said, Ramdas, this is bringing me down. My heart hurts. You may, it's okay. And it's ground to a halt.